Ahlan wa sahlan. How is everyone? Today I'm going to record a video, but this time in English. So I'm getting quite a few questions now after my videos in Arabic, most of the questions in Arabic. And so I just thought I'd answer a couple of the questions, but do it in English because, yeah, I can express myself a little bit better, and it gives me a chance to answer in a little bit more detail, maybe help those people who don't understand all of the Arabic and are just starting out on their journey. So the first question I get is why, right? Why did you start learning Arabic in the first place? So I'd say it was a mixture of reasons. I started during COVID, where I started to watch a series on the letters, and it became kind of a project of learning the huruf, all of the different letters, and it was quite fun. It's sort of like a bit of a puzzle. I think if you've never learned a language outside of kind of French, Spanish, German, Italian, for a British person, you've always stuck with the same alphabet. And so that's why sort of Russian and Arabic have appealed to me, because Cyrillic alphabet and the Arabic alphabet, it is quite a challenge just to learn the letters, even if we don't even think about the language itself. After that, I started to read quite a lot about the history of the Middle East, the history of the Arab Peninsula, which obviously is heavy intertwined with the language. So it made sense for me when I started to learn more about the region, the different countries, the culture, the poetry as well, and the Jahiliyyah and even after. So it made sense to learn more about the language and deepen my knowledge about that. So I'd say that was the main starting point. After that period, I went and I actually started to learn at university. So I took formal classes. I bought a series of books on my own and started to learn the grammar, started to understand more. So yeah, that's kind of the story. It's a mixture of cultural reasons, historical reasons, interest in those points, and then also linguistically, it's a language that interests me a lot. And I think the one piece of advice that I would give anyone starting Arabic now is to, first of all, concentrate on the letters. Learn the alphabet. Don't try and skip that and come back to it, because there's no point. But also to pick a dialect, and this is where I sort of had trouble at the start, because when I started, I've basically just learnt Fusha, and I've never really looked at a dialect. I've looked at a little bit of Egyptian Arabic, a little bit of Syrian, but I still only speak Fusha and would only understand Fusha. So that's why I always listen to the news. I try and read the newspaper, but if I listen to any kind of local dialect, I would be completely lost. So that is definitely Project 2026, to specialize in one dialect and try and familiarize myself with the actual Arabic that is used on a day-to-day basis. And I guess another question that I'm going to answer is what methods would I say work? People have asked me about Duolingo, and do I think it's effective, and maybe the best sort of strategies that I have for learning languages. I think, to be honest, I just made a short video about this, about why people struggle. And I think that the main things that you need to do is you need to have a real passion for why you're learning it. I think it's very difficult to learn a new language right from zero, and to carry on, and through all of the lack of understanding, people mocking your accent, people not understanding you. I think if you don't have a goal and you don't have a clear motivation of why you're doing this, I think quite quickly you lose that, and you will stop learning. So there is motivation, there's understanding why you're learning it, but then after that you need to really get into a pattern and habits of learning. So consistency is big, right? Doing something every day. If it's 20 minutes, it's 20 minutes. If it's 10 minutes, it's 10 minutes. If it's 30 minutes, it's 30 minutes. It doesn't mean you have to be there studying 2 hours a day. What it means is that if you have one lesson a week with someone, for example, I give Spanish lessons, and if my student has one lesson with me and then does nothing for 7 days and we have a lesson, I know that we'll have forgotten everything and there'll be no progress there, because the majority of progress is what you make in the time outside of the lessons. Yeah. So I would say really creating habits, whether it's reading the newspaper, whether it's writing a journal, whether it's listening to a podcast. If it's 20 minutes a day, it's fine. As long as your brain is having a touch point with that language, then every day, then there's going to be progress. Obviously, if you're doing an hour a day, it's better than doing 10 minutes. But, depending on everyone's schedule, that might not be possible. So I'd say consistency, motivation, and I would say not having a fear of mistakes. The best linguists, the people who have made the best progress, are the people who have no shame, right? Speaking when you know you might be getting it wrong, using a word even if you don't know you're using the right word. I do it all the time in the videos I make in Arabic, right? And all the videos that I make on the channel are basically practice for me. And I know I'm making loads of mistakes. So if people think that, I think I speak perfectly, it's not true. But there isn't a way of improving unless you actually do put what you're learning to practice. Yeah. So getting out of that comfort zone of, I don't want to say that because it might be wrong. Yeah. You need to just go for it. And the more mistakes you make, the more that those links inside your brain will be made, and the easier you will find it to speak in tough situations. If you never do it, you're never going to improve, right? So I think once you start getting into a few months and you start being able to put sentences together, you have to start recording yourself speak. You have to start sending stuff to your tutor. You have to start interacting with other people and using the language, making it live, because if not, you're going to lose it. So yeah, just a couple of sort of advice, I guess a bit of advice, those on those couple of questions, and also a background into my Arabic journey. But yeah, love to answer more questions. I can't think of any more off the top of my head. Most of them are about sort of my journey with Arabic and tips on learning language. And I really would say motivation, consistency, and not having a fear of mistakes. Yeah, I think that is massive. So yeah, just wanted to make this slightly longer video in English, and just talk about those things, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.